You're tuned in to Inside Lowell. Inside Lowell podcast brought to you in part by Washington Savings Bank, serving the greater Lowell community for over 130 years. Make the switch now to Washington Savings Bank. Unicare, offering a variety of plans for people insured under the GIC. At Unicare, your health is their top priority. Reverie 73, Lowell's #1 cannabis shop. Elevate your cannabis experience at Reverie 73. Hafner's, heating and cooling homes and businesses for nearly a century. Become a part of the Hafner's family. It kicks. Boston North Company, offering a wide variety of business solutions to help restaurant and retail clients save money. Boston North. And by Mahoney Oil Company, providing warmth and protection to families in Greater Lowell and Southern New Hampshire since 1925. That's Mahoney Oil. And now, time for another Inside Lowell podcast. Inside Lowell. If Lowell is your home, this is your place. Hi, and welcome to Chamber Chat here in the beautiful Inside Lowell studios. I'm Danielle McFadden, president of the Greater Lowell Chamber of Commerce. So excited to have my guests on with me today. I love a podcast when I don't have to do any homework ahead of time. I have Rachel Polizzotti and Amanda Clermont. They are the co-owners, co-founders of Rise Social Relations Firm. How are you both?
We're great. How are you?
I'm good.
Thanks for having us.
Yes, I'm so excited to have you. I want to talk a little bit about your company, how and why you founded it, and then talk about kind of the end of the year and what businesses can do to finish strong.
Yes. A good plan in place.
And I'm switching the screen because I just saw the tip of my nose in that previous one, and it's not my best feature. So we're just gonna move it along.
Yeah, right.
So you guys actually met at a chamber event.
We did. We
Yeah.
tell people that all the time,
Yep.
that we met at a Chamber of Commerce
Yep.
event. I think it was a Young Professionals
Yes.
event, actually. And kind of hit it off from there and started seeing each other at more networking events. And then that turned into a friendship, and then that turned into a business.
And neighbors, too.
And neighbor.
And neighbors, that's right.
Yeah.
Yep, we live right down the street from each other.
Yep.
Yeah,
It's
not weird at all.
The chamber for a lot here.
So
Yeah.
what made you start your business? And then what do you do? Because we have to get into that as well.
Yeah. So we are a social media management firm. We specialize in strategic social media marketing. We do that multiple different ways, and we founded it just because we had both seen success helping friends, family, small businesses in the area with it on a very small scale.
Yep.
But due to COVID, saw the need for it on such a high level that we've been able to help a ton of clients, and it has really surpassed anything we had projected.
Yeah, our first year definitely was very strong out the gate with the help of the chamber and
Yes,
you, of course,
very much
Danielle,
so.
we were very grateful for. But as Rachel said, we definitely did see that there was a need when COVID hit. Businesses were trying to pivot and make sure that they were still sharing how they were impactful. But obviously the face-to-face was limited. So we developed our business plan over play dates between children and adults. And they were within
Did
our
you have
bubble.
daddy dates too?
We did, yeah.
A bottle of wine, in case anybody wants the
Yes,
truth.
there were bottles of wine, and each week we would just kind of like chip away at it, and it almost started like a joke, I think.
Yeah.
Like very just something fun, and then finally we were like, okay, we actually really do have all these building blocks
Yeah.
in place, so we might as well just pull the trigger and do it. So we did,
Yeah.
and it's been 3 years.
Yep. 3 years in March.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
crazy. Time goes by too fast.
So fast.
Yeah.
So how has the business evolved in 3 years?
Yeah. So in multiple
Yeah.
different ways. So at first we were just kind of very word of mouth, working with clients just really in Cricket, Lowell, Chelmsford. And we have really expanded significantly to kind of, I would almost summarize like the
East Coast.
East Coast. We work with companies kind of all over the place. And it's the beauty of being a business that's, virtual. A lot of the companies that we work with in this area, we get out to see them fairly often, and we make that a possibility with our clients who are not in the same state or we don't travel to as frequently. But it's great. We really are able to step in the shoes of if not the business owner, then the people that run the day-to-day operations of whatever type of company that we're representing. And we put on the hat of the customer so that we can
yeah.
speak to the needs of what they're trying to get out there and share and advertise.
Yeah, and it always seems to kind of like ebb and flow, as you can imagine. You get people that gravitate towards you for the things that you put out. So it always really works out well with the clients that we do end up having, because we 9 times out of 10 end up being their ideal client.
Oh, yes.
So it's easy for us to kind of, like Rachel said, step into those shoes and think outside the box of like, how would I want to be marketed to? What would I want to know? What are the things that are important to me about this business that would help me? So that's the lens that we kind of go into it too. So when we're creating content or visuals or anything like that for our clients, we really want to try to tell a story. It's all about storytelling in marketing, but then also make sure that people understand what need that they fulfill.
Mm-hmm.
And 100%. When I look at your content too, through your content through Rise, but also some of your clients, it's very conversational.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We try to, make it less salesy, I would say, and more about relationship building. Yeah. It's so funny. We actually use this when we are talking to potential clients about networking events. We're like, you want to go to a networking event and meet multiple people. It's the same thing on social media. You want to try to grow and meet as many people online as you can. So we always use that analogy. Yeah. But then also it's really about people do business with those that they know, like, and trust. And that's really important to us. So we try to make sure that that's evident with the clients that we work with.
Yeah. 100%.
And you've mentioned small businesses, but you also work with a lot of nonprofit clients as well.
We do.
We
so
love our nonprofits.
Yeah, it works out well because Rachel and her husband own a small business. So then obviously we own a small business. So she definitely wears that hat and she has that on lock. And then I have a nonprofit background. So that ends up coming in really handy for the two of us to be able to use our specialties and our backgrounds.
Yin and the yang. Yep.
So for a small business or nonprofit that is watching right now, what are some ideas, some tips to end the year strong? I can't believe that it is the end of November already.
I know. December 1st is on Friday. That's insane.
Yeah. So one thing that we've been educating our clients on, and this is kind of across the board, if you have the funds in your budget to hire a company to do strategic marketing for you, that's one thing. Or if you have the ability to really keep it in-house and do it for yourself and you're struggling to get it done, our number one tip is really to make it a habit. Like any important element in your life, marketing has to be up there, or pillars in the business kind of fall apart. So we say if you can make it a part of your everyday habit, or your once a week habit, or your once a month habit, whatever it might be in your schedule, it's super important. We give the example that if you can set a timer for 1 hour, even if it's once a month, get your content written, get some scheduling done, get some graphics ready to go, and make it easier on yourself so that you're not plugging in every day and saying, what do I want to talk about? Nothing is interesting about my business. We hear this all the time. And let me tell you, we work with some businesses that the average person would say, there's really nothing interesting about that. Amanda even gave me this example when we first started Rise. She said to me, if you're making toilets look pretty and appealing on social media, we could be doing this for other people. Yeah. Obviously, my husband and I own a plumbing company.
I was just going to say, I feel like we need to make a little bit of context. Yeah.
But it's so true that if you can make anything attractive and appealing and engaging, it doesn't really matter what you're selling.
Yeah, and it is really, we do workshops for realtor organizations. We've done them for the chamber before. We've done them for some women's networking events, and batching content's really important. And I think people think it's very daunting and they have to carve so much time out, but it really doesn't. You don't need to allot that much time. So that is definitely really important to get started at the end of the year. And then I think you could always even put themes to months and try to figure out this month I really want to concentrate on this. Yep. Or this month I really want to talk about these things because it may be bubbling to the top. Like we work with a landscaping company, for example. There are going to be different things that are going to be talked about different times of the year. So does that pertain to your business? And those are things that you'll want to weave into, your marketing material and your
that's a great way
message.
Yeah. And then we always like to say, you do what you can at that time. And then as time evolves, so does your marketing practice. So right now, if all you can commit is 1 hour each month, Then you set that timer, you block it off in your schedule, and you chip away at this for 1 hour for the first month. And then you might find in 3 to 4 months that you can dedicate 3 to 4 hours, and you have the knowledge of what to do next, and you see the return on your 1 hour investment. So let's keep chipping away at it. And then there are other different great techniques that we teach and that we practice for our clients that really help that process. We grow the accounts. We do all the engagements for the accounts, and it really makes a difference. Like the example that Amanda just gave, that if you only ever go to a networking event and talk to the same 3 people, you're never going to grow your business through networking. If you only have 200 followers on Instagram and you never actively grow your account, you're never going to get in front of new people, really. And that is how the algorithm works. It's really not going to just simply reward you because you're posting once a week or whatever it might be.
Right.
You have to go out and actively grow that. And that's a strategy that we have kind of, in my eyes, perfected for our clients. That is the missing piece sometimes.
Yeah. And I think that's definitely a big point going into the new year. Like we were saying, like tips and tricks for businesses is just trying to engage, be on your social media platforms a few times a day throughout the day, engage with the people who are liking on your, liking your posts, commenting on your posts, make sure you're checking your inboxes. I can't believe how many clients we end up working with, and there are like a backflow of people who have been trying to message them and reach out to them about their business. So just trying to make those things, reoccurring to do.
Practices, yeah, definitely.
I think you're also really good at repurposing content.
Yeah.
Yes, and that is so important. I'm so glad you brought that up, because there are so many different ways that you can use things now. Like you can use things in graphics, you can use things in still images, you can use things within video content, and it doesn't need to be complicated. It doesn't need to be perfect. That's the other thing now I feel like is a very refreshing wave on social media, is that people would rather see the real nitty gritty of your business and who you are as an individual than the, 100%. Perfect dotted I's and crossed T's. Yeah. So it could be as simple as something like Danielle sitting here today and having a tripod set up and time lapsing and her doing a chamber chat here, and using that in the background and putting text over it or whatever it might be. But it could be very simple. You sitting, doing your work, you packaging something for a client, you on the road traveling to something. It doesn't need to be complicated.
And the thing that popped up in my head was me like spilling coffee on myself.
Yeah.
Like, whoops, I did it again.
Daily habit.
I'm sure there's an audio to match that nowadays, since Britney Spears is now relevant again.
I also like, to that point, we're in such a nosy culture that people just want to know what your days look like and what you do. And, and I find that if you enjoy what you're doing on social media, if you put thought into and enjoy what you're writing and it comes from your heart, it is perceived so well.
Yeah.
I find that there's so much higher engagement where I'm taking the time to put thought and energy into what we're sharing, and it always pays back.
Yeah, personality is always
if you're dreading it and damn it, the clock's going off, I gotta do 1 hour on Instagram this month, people are gonna feel that in your posts.
And I'm sure once you get more comfortable with it too over time, that hopefully shifts a little bit as well.
Right. Yeah, like anything. I mean, once you start seeing the reward of getting a little bit more of that engagement and people seem to be interacting and liking it a little bit more, I think it boosts the confidence.
Definitely.
For sure.
A great way to tell the story of the business or organization, because businesses and nonprofit organizations do so much. And it's hard
to tell that story.
Right. So you can kind of weave your
Our
story
nonprofit
throughout
clients
your
are
posts.
sometimes, I say the worst, but not in a bad way, of like, well, we don't really know like what people want to hear. And I'm like, everything. You guys are doing so much, especially the impact that they have in our communities alone. Those should be shared. So we're trying to make sure that those come to the forefront.
Well, I feel like that's been a huge
clients.
shift for nonprofits, even since I've been at the chamber for 12 years.
Yeah.
12 years ago, nonprofits weren't necessarily, or some nonprofits weren't necessarily kind of like running like a business and really doing the business development piece.
Yep.
Yeah.
And telling the story. They didn't want to come across as like bragging.
Yeah.
Right.
But now it's like, no, you
Or
need
too
to, you
salesy.
need,
Yeah.
yes.
There is such thing as a humble brag.
Yes.
And I feel like that's what
humble brag.
Yeah. So I feel like that's the, the lens you have to go into it with. But I agree. Yeah. It definitely has shifted over the course of, I've been in the nonprofit industry for a long time. So I've definitely seen it.
Yeah. And if you're asking for money, the people that are going to hopefully donate to you and support you want to know what you're doing, and they want to connect with you as an
And the
organization.
people that don't are going to keep scrolling anyway. So they're not offended. They're going to keep moving.
Yep.
Easy to keep moving on social media.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very much so.
It's also easy to stay still
And
get
go into a rabbit hole.
Yes.
Yes. I know we spend a lot of time on social media, as you can
We
imagine.
call it market research,
but yeah, we do call it market research. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And there are so many different platforms that people can be taking advantage of too. I think that's another really important thing as we go into the new year. Starting the new year for new businesses is trying to just diversify if they can. And then also just making sure that the locations in which they're spending their time are where their actual ideal client is. We have so many clients that come to us and they're like, I've been turning my wheels over on LinkedIn, and they don't really have the content suited for that platform. So we're like, well, we think maybe we should be over here instead. Or we have those that are just doing Facebook, and we think that their information would be really beneficial also on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
So it's just trying to do an audit and try to figure out like where your content would be best suited, where your ideal client spends the most of their time, so that you're not wasting time on platforms that aren't going to be, you know, suited to what you're trying to accomplish.
Yeah.
Yeah, and once they see results, then it's very motivating, right?
Yeah.
So then they're going to want to continue to provide the
Right.
content.
That's the
share
hope.
it.
Yep.
Anything else you want the viewers and listeners to know about Rise, and also kind of kicking off maybe the new year or wrapping up this year?
I think just a special thing for us is that we're going to be offering a couple new services come the new year, which will be really
this is breaking
exciting.
news. I was not aware of this.
Yeah, so we're currently
Teddy.
working on digital downloads for anyone to be able to utilize. You don't have to be a client of ours, just to make the process of things that we're talking about today a little bit easier for them, digestible, some checklists for them to be able to go about their day and be able to feel like they can tackle social media on their own if they don't have the ability to hire a social media management company. I always say organization because I'm so used to nonprofit world company. But we're also trying to do more speaking engagements as well. So we have a couple of those lined up with some networking groups across Massachusetts, which is really exciting. And then we're going to try to work on a more evolved workbook that we'll be launching as well.
People, Yep. We're also launching a course come the first of the year. So we can teach this to people.
Yep.
We can't hoard all this information ourselves. So I feel like we have a very well-oiled machine after these last 3 years, and we go through almost religiously the same methodology every single day and get outstanding results. So really like to be able to teach that people on a larger scale. So that is launching first of the year.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
It's very exciting.
Yeah.
And a busy
So,
end to the year.
Be on the
Yeah.
lookout. Check out our social media
Rise
pages,
social relations.
and our website, and we'll get all that stuff up there as soon as it's ready.
If someone's interested in working with you, how do you set up a meeting, and is it kind of like, all right, let's just chat? You're not obligated to anything.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's very laid back. We usually have what we call like a informational prospect meeting where we try to learn as much about the business as possible and the pain points that they're experiencing and where they feel they need the most help. So that is definitely more of an exploratory call, I would say. And then once we have that, we usually go behind the scenes, the two of us, dive a little bit deeper into those accounts, figure out also what we think we do almost like a little bit of an audit, I would say. And then we usually have a second meeting, a follow-up meeting where we propose our ideas, and then kind of go from there. But it definitely is more of a chat. If anyone is interested, we'd be always happy to have those with companies or organizations.
Excellent. Well, thank you both so much. I will share all your contact information when I post this. So.
Great.
Thank you.
Right there.
Thanks for having us.
This was really
I know, we're really
fun.
excited to be in this studio.
Yes,
I haven't been on
fun.
Chamber Chat since the
Radio?
WCAP time.
Well, I know you both would co-host with me sometimes.
Yeah.
Or
Those were the
host without me.
days.
Yep.
I know. Crazy how time flies.
It really does.
But yeah, we love having the studio right in the chamber office.
This is
It's really
amazing.
convenient and
And so high tech.
great
If you haven't been in here, it's very high tech.
Yeah, we got
Part of your membership,
look at all
everybody.
the-
Yeah, I know. Take advantage of it.
camera angles that we have going on here.
Look at that.
Do
You
wanna use
you
the
can pick your
whiteboard
best
for
side.
anything?
Oh man.
Yeah,
Could you use the
so-
whiteboard?
We'll have to come back
Next
in. Maybe
time.
we can do like
Next
a little,
time. Game of
you could be like
Hangman.
Vanna. I was thinking like you were going to teach something, but we can do Hangman.
Tic-tac-toe, like my kids like to play all the time.
Thank you both. This was
Thank
really
you.
fun. And thank you all for tuning into Chamber Chat again here in the Inside Lowell Studios. We will be back again soon. Thanks.